Hi, my dearest beloved friends. Just in case for those who don't know me personally, let me introduce myself. My name is Sergey Chkasev. I am Almin appointed Chief Executive Officer of Almin-owned organization, Mudrost Almin LLC. English translation of the name organization, Almin's Wisdom. The organization was founded by Almin 12 years ago. It's based in the town of Podolsk, Moscow region, Russia. Currently, Mudrost Almin LLC Russia is the only organization in the world that officially legally represents Almin in the world. We publish and distribute Almin's teachings and practical tools that are effective in the area of removing all obstacles, blockages, and illusions that stand in the way of individuals' ultimate self-expression and well-being. The states of being that Almin calls wholesomeness and wholesome living. Also, we offer ongoing online workshops and one-on-one sessions for those who need extra support to their self-work. Technically, we have more than enough materials at our disposal to work on our own without external assistance. We are not a community that follows the same rules. On the contrary, we are eager to assist you in total elimination of a state of a follower. Almin says, a master doesn't seek the truth. He creates it moment by moment. May I ask you a question, and I don't expect you to answer to me, only to yourself. How many truths have you created? Only those truths that we create ourselves for ourselves will be powerful and effective for our lives. Almin trains leaders, not followers. From the bottom of our hearts, we wish you great success in your path of self-sovereignty. The purpose of this video is to answer some of your questions that we received within the last few days. The questions were direct and straightforward, and the answers will also be symmetrical. So question number one. Why do Almin no longer facilitate online and live sessions and is no longer available to the public? There's also questions if this is health related or some other reasons. So answer number one, in the year 2019, during her last public event in Ohio, the United States, Almin stated that she had to follow her inner knowing and to terminate her public service starting from January 2020. My dearest friends, I'm sure that all of us agree that Almin's explanation of her next personal step was more than enough for us to know. And any attempt to cross her personal boundaries is not acceptable. Hence, questions related to Almin's personal life or health or any areas of her personal life are really attempts to trespass her personal boundaries and invade the forbidden area. Almin knows exactly why she makes decisions that she makes. And as those who aspire to master high levels of consciousness, we highly respect personal space and personal boundaries, our own and others. That's why the topic of Almin's personal life is forever closed. But what is important for all of us to keep in mind and to be busy with is Almin's last commission that we all received during that Ohio event. As Almin no longer available for personal consultations or public events, we are expected to trust only our own self-guidance, to masterfully govern our own lives, to make our own decisions, and to masterfully take full responsibility for them. Our staff and volunteers of Mudrost Almin, Team Almin Russia, were instructed by Almin in 2019 to never make any attempts to receive and to forward to Almin any questions and requests from anyone starting from December 2019. Almin explained that we have abundance of teachings, abundance of tools to be able to effectively help ourselves. If we use Kivesta, the Hakulit, and the runes, only those three, we can receive answers to any questions and to solve any problem, regardless of its level of difficulty. It was successfully tested by many of their grateful users. If we need self-healing and self-empowerment, we have Bilvaspata, healing of the heart, various protocols that address literally all areas of our lives. But in spite of making crystal clear for all students of Almin's work in Russia and worldwide, we kept receiving emails with requests to forward their questions and requests to Almin personally because everybody was convinced that Almin should make exception only for them because their situation is exceptional. Although honestly, there was nothing specifically exceptional in the requests, just ordinary issues that all of us encounter in life here and there all the time. So we kept explaining thousands and thousands and thousands of times that we're not going to forward anything. There was a clear instruction, so let's not pretend that we're deaf and dumb. Everyone heard that clearly enough. That's it. Question number one was answered. Now, question number two. Yes, it was clear that Almin went into seclusion and she's no longer available. But what about some people that somehow managed to get through to Almin and even received some answers and assistance from her? As Almin's Russian international office, we can't confirm that. Personally, I didn't receive any further communications and instructions from Almin since 2019, as everything was clear enough in 2019. If we needed spiritual guidance for our work in our office, we used the runes and other tools. If no specific guidance is needed, we just keep working according to Almin's established guidelines. Mudrost Almin LLC has two shareholders, Almin and myself. Almin 51%, myself 49%. And if one of the shareholders decides to become non-active for any reasons, then all 100% responsibilities are being executed by the other party. It means that I'm currently the only one Almin spokesperson and official representative in Russia and internationally. And Mudrost Almin LLC is the only organization in the world that is owned by Almin, and it is the only reliable and trustworthy source of all information related to all aspects of Almin's work. We are commissioned by Almin to answer all your questions. If any of you want to get undiluted, reliable information about any aspect of Almin's teachings, any aspect of Almin's work, you are more than welcome to contact us. We'll be more than happy to assist you, always. We are bilingual, we speak Russian, we speak English. Question number three. If Mudrost Almin is the only legitimate Almin-owned organization and the only most reliable source of information about Almin's work, then how should we treat other individuals and businesses that offer their products and services based on Almin's work? I was in Sedona in the US in 2010, January 2010, at one of Almin's retreats where Almin introduced her special project called Business Plan for Prosperity. Unlike many other spiritual centers, Almin wanted to decentralize her work and to give it freely into the hands of the people. Everyone can initiate themselves into Balvaspata according to the book. There are steps of self-initiations described there. And to practice it, to offer healing sessions for purchase, to teach Balvaspata, to teach Kivesta, to teach from any book and online course, and they can share with Almin financially only if they choose so. But it's not a necessary requirement. The only requirement is to credit Almin as an author and originator of the work. Basically, to be honest and not to introduce the work as if it's their own. Clear enough. So as a result, today we have hundreds, if not thousands, of practitioners all over the world that offer Almin's work. Although they don't have a status of Almin's legitimate legal representatives, it doesn't mean that they are something less. On the contrary, they are independent business owners, and it would be illegitimate for Almin's international office, Mudrost Almin, and even for Almin herself to monitor their activities, let alone to intervene in their operations. Logically, we are expected to be the primary examples of integrity and respect personal boundaries of others, legal entities included. We all understand that Almin's business plan for prosperity implies some risks because anyone can use Almin's materials to establish their own independent works, and people are on different levels of consciousness, spiritual maturity that determine the nature of their motives, their agendas. But something very, 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 very important. Almin mentioned many times and on many occasions that her teachings and tools possess the ability to self-correct. So good to know, even if they're misused and abused. No worries at all. That's why what seems to be risky is not risky at all. Clear enough. So, if briefly, currently, Almin's work is represented, first of all, by her own organization, Mudrost Almin LLC in Russia. Secondly, Almin's work is being distributed by many hundreds, if not thousands, of independent business owners all over the world. Almin's books and materials were being sold in hundreds of thousands of copies, and technically everyone could potentially teach and practice it, including for commercial purposes. We're also asked if it creates competition with Almin's web stores and operations of Mudrost Almin LLC. The answer is no, because our functions are different from theirs. And to be able to offer their services, they had to purchase the materials from us first. And they are aware that they can't copy and resell the materials. They can only use them to compile their teaching events. And they need to have Belvaspata books to be able to conduct healing sessions. Clear enough. Question number 4. If Almin is no longer available to the public, then how can you explain the reports of some of those who claim to be Almin students that also claim that they receive personal communications, messages, and spiritual guidance directly from Almin? Answer number 4. For the last couple of years, I've been contacted by some of the people that told me that they needed to speak to me urgently because they had some urgent messages for me from Almin. And it was already after the year 2019, when it was crystal clear for all of us that now, if we want to receive a personal message from the infinite, we need to work with the runes or Kivesta, especially Hakulit. Hakulit is especially great for that purpose, as well as the runes. Such spreads, for example, as yes or no answer, basic spread, and there are many other spreads that literally address all areas of life and even more. Where do people get an idea that if they contact Almin directly, it will be more effective than asking the runes? So I agreed to talk with them because I thought, who knows, maybe Almin really made an exception, and it was always her way of communication. Often she forwarded her communications to me through other staff members of her former US-based organization. Currently, Almin no longer owns any organization in the United States, nowhere except Russia. So I asked those who claimed to bring me a personal message from Almin about the way of their communication with Almin, whether it's by phone, by text, by email. And the response was, I hear Almin's voice sometimes within my head, sometimes from my left side, sometimes from my right side, sometimes telepathically, sometimes during dream time. So no direct personal communications with Almin. I just ignored it, of course. We can't rely solely on telepathic communication as on trustworthy source of information, because if you're not a novice on a spiritual path, you understand that there can be multiple interferences there. And I remember once Almin mentioned that she met some of those who claimed to be one of the best psychics in the world, and she tested them and she said that they're only 50% accurate. Of course, we don't deny telepathic communication completely, but also we can't rely on that completely, especially in some very important matters when 100% accuracy is a must. as it's in case of possible important business communication between our owner, Almin, and us, Mudras Almin staff. Telepathic communications are not an option in this case at all, of course. Question number 5, the last question for today. If we're expected to rely only on ourselves and on Almin's divination tools for our own self-guidance, then what's the role of individuals and organizations that work under Business Plan for Prosperity, that offer their teaching events, online workshops, etc.? Of course, also Mudras Almin also offers some online events. And the question is, do we need to participate? Or is it just enough for us to do our self-work with the available materials and tools? Do we need resources that provide daily guidance for us? Or it's just enough to get our own guidance from the runes, Kivesta, or Hakulit? So the answer number 5, there is no such thing that we are expected to do something specific by some higher spiritual authorities that say you must buy this, you must buy that, otherwise you miss something important. This would be purely black magic from our part, manipulating others for our own financial gain by using people's weaknesses such as lack of self-confidence, self-trust, self-reliance, and false sense of inability to create our own truths moment by moment. If we offer you assistance, then on the contrary, we encourage you to walk in self-confidence, self-trust, and self-reliance, and to create your own truths moment by moment. And this is one of my favorite quotes from Almin's book, A Life of Miracles. Indeed, a master creates truth. Therefore, the goal isn't to seek truth, but to create it consciously, says Almin. If you don't buy anything from Mudras Almin or from other business plan for prosperity people, we can call them BPFPs, business plan for prosperity people, we definitely don't miss anything important. The only exception is your personal inner knowing, when you clearly, definitely, strongly, and acutely know within yourself that you need to purchase something or participate in some offers of Mudras Almin or BPFPs. Then you decide to purchase and participate according to your inner knowing. We can't buy anything just because someone else tells us to do it. And we don't have any idea why we do it. This is clearly mind control. If we don't have any idea why we do what we do. If you decide to buy something, you know exactly why you buy it, why you need it, and what measurable result you expect from using this offer. When all of this is clear enough for you, then you're ready for making a purchase. Not just because everybody buys it, not just because some practitioner told you to buy it, or just because it's Almin's product. No. You know exactly why you buy it, why you need it, and what measurable result you expect from using this product or offer. Then it's clear and fair enough. Be always clear and fair with yourself. So as you see, it's all optional. It's all optional. Mudras Almin also offers online workshops and private consultations, of course. Also personal sound alchemy, musical elixirs, but only if you strongly and acutely know within yourself that you need to use our offers. Sometimes you see the announcement of our upcoming online workshop or new product and you strongly know within yourself that it is for you. Then you are more than welcome to participate. Nothing is mandatory. You can use some of our offers, all of our offers, and not to use them at all. If you have the materials and the tools and prefer to work with them on your own. In our next week's video, we will give a detailed explanation on Almin's instruction of not mixing her teachings and tools with teachings and tools of other teachers. and also will address more of your questions. Talk to you soon.